name's Marion McGowen, Transcending Paradigms. What does transcending paradigm means? What does it mean? Change your thinking and you'll change your life. Do I believe that? Absolutely. My background, I have been labeled as a pioneer in energy healing. And I guess when you reach a certain age, you become a pioneer. But I started back in the 80s, just for fun, curious. Never, my background is hospitality industry, restaurant, bar, so that ending up here is kind of funny. You know, I'm now an ordained minister with Circle of Miracles, and there are still people from my past that they couldn't even grasp the concept of me being a minister. I mean, seriously. But I do believe that we are a generation, my generation, that we were afraid to discuss these topics because you weren't comfortable. It was considered out there or woo-woo, and I always said I have great respect for the hippies because they took it all out of the closet and they decided that it was okay to talk about spirituality. Even the word spirituality still scares people. It's, I know I come from an Italian Catholic background. So my relatives would be, oh, this is so bad, you're talking about this, and you know, the sin and what's going to happen if you stray. And but I believe if you come from the heart and you come from love, and we come from integrity, and if you can walk through here and walk your talk, I don't care how many titles you have, I don't care how many credentials you have, because when it comes to credentials, I probably could wallpaper this room. Now, what does that mean? Nothing. It means that I was curious. It was curious, and when I first started out, I have to give you a little bit of what he set me on this path. I went to the Dale Carnegie course. I went there because I had an employee that worked for me that I felt needed the course. And she was afraid to go, and I said, I'll meet you there. Well, as it turned out, I needed the course. She never showed up for the course. So that was in 1977. In 1980, I went to, and here's how I talk about a circuitous route. I went to an Overeaters Anonymous meeting, met, and I was 30 pounds thinner than I am now, so, but that's where my head was. I met a girl at Overeaters Anonymous who took me to the library, and there was a psychic there. And my first impression when I went into the room was her clothes were wrinkled. Like, how could she present how clothes are wrinkled? So, but what I understand now, why I was there. I felt that I got nothing out of that. What I realize now what she was doing was a past life regression. It was so bizarre and so weird to me. But I met some people there that I kind of was impressed with what they were saying, and they weren't talking to me, I was eavesdropping. And I liked what I heard. And when we got out of the OA meeting, out of that meeting, I had said to my friend, why do I listen to you? Why do I do these goofy things with you? Why would you be there? But I went back the following week, and there was a woman there, I don't know if you know her, I will put a shout out to her. Her name is Asia. She was a psychic, Adele Schaefer, I believe is her name. And she happened to be at that meeting, and she leaned up the table and she said, you have no idea what you're going to do with this. She said, you think this is so out there, but trust me, you're going to do it. I was like, yeah, whatever. So then I went back again, and I went to 2 more meetings at that group, not for the presenter, but because I liked the other people. Met these women, and they suggested that I go to one of the greatest teachers I ever had. Her name was Evelyn Isidore, and she was from Northeast. She was one of the ones that started the groups, and she was a medium, a gifted medium. But at the time, I didn't really know what a medium even was. And I used to go and I would sit with these people and I would hear their philosophy on things, and it just did not make sense to me. And I can remember one time sitting in a diner, and I said, like, I don't understand you people. Like, what did you guys all do with Jesus? Did you work them out completely? Because, this was all so new. And that was my first introduction to it's okay to step out of the box. Step out of that box. And so now understand my background as a child, I had a year in a Catholic orphanage. So I had a little indoctrination with, but yet even that never felt right. So I never felt like I belonged wherever I was at. I was like, oh, you were always looking. Anyway, then I met these people there, and they convinced me to start going to Evelyn's and going to classes. And that was, I signed up for a 14-week hypnosis class. She was a gifted teacher. Ended up joining the union for hypnosis. It was the big thing back then. But then I got involved in going to the Life Spectrums conference. And Life Spectrums was the big spiritual conference. And all of the teachers that came in were, I think, what you're looking for, what they're still looking for now. They would recruit people that resonated with them, with the information that they had, and they would bring them there. And they had all of the people that were now like big names. Like we had Deepak Chopra, and we had Joe Borsenko, but they were all just starting out. So they were always cool. Like, you got to hang out and drink wine with them at night after the conference. Reiki was a big thing. I didn't even understand what it was, but we got to be with two of the original Reiki masters. But that didn't mean anything back then because they were just Ethel and Virginia. So it was a series of years, and then I became very involved with the conference and finding presenters every year, and then going out and recruiting presenters, going to the expos and listening. And we never went for the big names. We listened to, and I understand that was spirit guided. Listen for the ones. We listen. You can come in. We listen for the people that made the most sense. To me. Now that was just my own judgment or whatever you want to call it, observation. So that went on for years. So I just got to. All I did for years was take classes, never dreaming I would use them because I was in the hospitality industry. And so, but I liked the classes, I liked the people that I met. The energy was so different, coming from the bar business to spiritual classes. And, one of my greatest gifts in my life were being introduced to the medical mission sisters down on Pine Road in Philadelphia. They were where I did do most of my classes. And then by going there, the conference was once a year, but then at the Medical Mission Sisters, they brought in all of which I later learned, the big hitters in energy work and healing work. So I did all of my training with the Uplift Institute and with all those people, but I didn't realize at the time that was a big deal because I didn't know what I didn't know. But I always liked the energy. And what I began to realize was the vibration changing of the people from the industry that I was used to. And all of a sudden these people were we say like so cookies and milk 30 years later. I still see that some people feel still that they are better than, more knowledgeable, more spiritual. That's ridiculous. Because I can honestly say that I have enough diplomas and certificates they're in a drawer. Because I always say that, and I teach the classes, and that and a book will get you a cup of coffee. Taking responsibility for your words and how your words do change your thinking, change your life. And where I got the change your thinking, change your life, someone gave me a Science of Mind magazine 35 years ago. It's still, that magazine's great. And the little caption on the top said, change your thinking, change your life. And I was like, wow. They make that sound so simple. It is I'm not saying it's that easy. It's that easy. And I think that we live in a society today that even in the spiritual world, it's got credentials. Well, what are your credentials? And what are you? And it doesn't matter what my credentials are. So I'm a Reiki master teacher. And what does that mean? What does that mean to the person over there who doesn't have a clue? But who needs someone to just walk up and say a kind word to them, or maybe just put their hand on their shoulder. To me, that's healing. So I think that the energy healing has, or even now with credentials, everybody has EFT and IET, and all these classes have been spin-offs now, and they have new, so you pay more money to take them, and they're in 4 levels or 5 levels. But the bottom line is, this is the gospel of Good Marion. If you can help someone, help them right there on the spot. And your spirit will tell you that, your gut tells you that, your intuition, whatever name you want to call that. If you want to call it your intuition, whatever you call it, it's that I believe, and I use a lot of this in the classes, if it hums to me. If it doesn't hum to me, I don't care how much you paid for it. And I don't care how many credentials you have and how many letters you have by your name. Because there used to be a channel many years ago called Bartholomew in the 80s. And when Bartholomew stopped coming through, Mary Margaret was the channel, and she said, there is no new information. And if anyone comes to you today and tells you that they have new information, back away. Because there is no new information. And I think when you pursue this, it's the truth. We have different labels for it now. I mean, I went through all the up-ledger training and all of the different trainings and all the trying to get it. What's it? What is it? And with the Big Mouth class, I think that the best thing I got out of that class was me learning to take responsibility for my actions and my thoughts. And I cannot now, with a clear conscience, criticize, or no, I'm not saying don't say the same thing, but I know better. I know better, and I finally, from all these classes and all these wonderful people that I've met. I mean, I've met wonderful, wonderful people. I volunteer at the prison, and some of the nicest people I met are in the prison. But no one ever tells them they're nice. They're felons, and they're that. No, get over that. That's part of what my class is at the prison, is get rid of that label. Peel off that label, so that you're interacting. This work that you girls are doing, wonderful, because you're getting the message out there. But I'm sure that you meet people that are like, oh, I don't believe that. Like my family will say, you really believe in that stuff? I say, yeah, I do. They go, but it's okay. I don't judge them. And that's another thing from the one class. I don't have a right to judge another person, because I haven't walked in your shoes. I haven't walked in your shoes. And for me to stand up and tell you that I'm a pioneer in energy work and I know more than maybe went to more classes, but I'm older, so I've had more years experience. I've gone through within 3 years the death of 2 daughters, a sister, and losing a business. So it's like, okay, let's, buck up, let's get here. No, I could sit here and go, oh, I'm just this